Hello, welcome to Python Basics with EJD. In this video, we are talking about OOP best practices and design patterns. Of course, as the topic sounds like, that should tell you that this is probably the last video on object-oriented programming. Of course, not the end of the Python playlist, because I think I still have one or two things to talk about. Talking about Python libraries, modules, and things like that. So that should be the next set of things I talk about, which should mark the end of this Python Basics playlist. So object-oriented programming best practices and design patterns is what we are looking at in this case. Okay, that's the last video, so I have to open to that. Okay, I'm not uploading, by the way, so I'm open notebook, and that's lesson 32. Lesson 32. Okay, so that takes some time, and then it opens up. So we can see that using Google Colab makes things pretty easy. So talking about OOP best practices and design patterns, the goal is to teach students how to write clean, scalable, and maintainable object-oriented programming code by applying best practices and design patterns. So the first thing I want to talk about today, the solid principles in Python. So by the way, that solid is actually an alphabetization for, is that the way it's called? I think, is it alphabetization now or an acronym for some of the principles we'll be considering. Okay, what I meant to do is uh to make it bold. All right. Yeah, so double star. So if you have not understood how to navigate Google Colab, video 2 does that comprehensively. So it tells you how to move around Google Colab, right? So object-oriented programming best practices and design patterns. So you have the solid principles in Python. So solid is a set of 5 design principles introduced by Robert C. Martin, otherwise known as Uncle Bob. They help us build systems that are robust, flexible, and easy to maintain. The solid principles. So the first S in solid means single responsibility principle, and the O is open and closed principle, OCP. The L is Liskov Substitution Principle, LSP. The I is Interface Segregation Principle, ISP. And the D is Dependency Inversion Principle, DIP. That's the solid principle in Python. So first of all, starting with Single Responsibility Principle, SRP, by definition, we have that a class should have only one reason to change. Why? Because it prevents God classes that do too much. So it means we don't want any class to become so powerful that it can hold others to ransom technically, right? So imagine you have you can have a bad one. You have one class that handles too many responsibilities. Imagine you have the class report, right? So and it's say self-content. So the argument is content. Then now define generate. So this returns reports and self-content. So define save to file, all of that, so all of that is under reports. But it is better instead of having all of this now, we have so instead of having this class report doing everything, we can have another, we can better say report, then after defining the arguments, so this class can, so it has a function under it to generate something, right? So it generates the content, and then we can now, instead of doing the save with the same class, you can break it down into class file. You can have another class file saver, so that they can work independently. And so the fact that one function is not, one class is not doing is so you don't burden a particular class. Technically, that's the whole idea. So no God class. We can have parent classes, but not God classes. That's the technical thing there. Of course, this is not going to be enough anyways, but just to show us a good way to go. So instead of having all the functions being carried out by a class, you can have two classes, with shared functions working together. Then the second principle is the open look closed principle. Don't forget the first principle is single responsibility principle. So each class does one responsibility. Then you can create other classes and they can inherit from it and things like that. That's better than having one class doing all the jobs. Then the next thing is the open stroke closed principle, OCP. By definition, classes should be open for extension but closed for modification, right? Why you should have this is that it encourages adding new functionality without breaking existing code. So you don't have to, you can extend, but you don't have to modify. So that keeps your work neat and you don't have to stress over the small stuff like they say. Okay, so in this case now, okay, let me just make it as big and I just keep scrolling. So you have the bad case will be modifying existing code to add behavior. Imagine you have class rectangle, define area. Rectangle is width times height. Then you now have class circle. You now have return 3.14 times self dot radius times 2. Now, in this case now, you already 3.14 is like you are introducing something totally new because we already have radius there. So compare this with this other one, and then here you now have get area shape, instance shape rectangle. But instead of that now, you have rectangle with width and height. You have circle with radius. All right. Okay, yeah, 3.14 is normally yeah, radius is another value entirely. So the bad case, you have rectangle, you have two classes, rectangle and circle with then under they now have a definition, a function, right? Standing on its own. Whereas instead of doing that, so that function standing on its own is the get area, right? So instead of doing that, we can say shape area, and then rectangle can inherit the shape, circle can inherit the shape, like we did before. Then get area too also can now function based on that shape. So instead of having, you have rectangle on its own, circle on its own. So you can define a general thing, shape, which rectangle and circle now inherits. So that's a neater way to go about it. We are talking about best practices, right? So, and then we talked about this, which is open and closed. So classes should be open for extension, but closed for modification, like that. Okay. So if you run this, of course, we are not getting any results. It's just to demonstrate the right way things should go. Okay. So then we have the Liskov substitution principle. By definition, subtypes must be substitutable for their base types, right? Then why? Inheritance should not break existing functionality. That's what that is about. And the I in solid is interface segregation principle. By definition, it means that no class should be formed to implement methods it does not use. So don't form a class. So it's more like creating a redundant project or a white elephant project that does not so much good. And the reason is to avoid fat interfaces, right? Then the D in solid is dependency inversion principle. By definition, depend on abstractions, not concretions. So you can depend on abstractions, not concretions. Why? This makes system more flexible and testable. So having taken care of the solid principle in Python, we have the common design patterns in Python. So we have the singleton pattern. The purpose of singleton pattern is to ensure the class has only one instance. All right. And the use case is when you have config managers and database connections. So imagine a class, we create a singleton class and you have instance, no instance, or I mean, instance is none. All right. And then we have define new class, CLS, with multiple arguments, multiple keyword arguments. So if not, CLS does instance and you have this. So if you run this, it doesn't do anything, but just to give us an example of a singleton, it ensures that a class has only one instance, right? So then we have the factory pattern. So the common design pattern, singleton pattern, we've seen that we have the factory pattern, which creates objects without exposing the creation logic, right? So the use case is choosing which object to create at runtime. Okay. So imagine here we have class shape, pass, not doing anything. Then we have class circle, which inherits shape, class curve, which inherits shape. Then we now create the class shape factory using the static method. So we create shape. In a previous video, we had talked about, I think, static methods and other methods like that. Forgotten what we called, I think, object and static methods or something like that. A whole video on that. So you define a create shape type. So if shape type circle, return circle. If shape type is square, return square. So this decides what exactly you want. So, but if else, if you don't know if there's no circle or square, it tells you the shape is not like if I now come and tell you maybe it's rectangle, which is not defined there, it tells you unknown shape. So this is how to do this for factory pattern. So for strategy, there's a pattern called strategy pattern too. So we have singleton factory, now single strategy pattern. So this define a family of algorithms, encapsulates them, and make them interchangeable, right? So the use case is payment methods, sorting strategies, etc. So imagine we create a class called payment strategy, okay? And you define pay. Under that, you need to pay, right? You need to pay a particular amount. Pass, it's not doing anything. That means what the pass means. Then you can now create credit card payments. that as it, so inheriting the payment strategy. So it will take the amount from there, right? So you now define pay amount, print paid blah 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 with credit card. Then PayPal payment too. You have payment strategy, which also inherits the payment strategy, right? So when this is done, it says paid amount with PayPal, then class checkout. So you initialize this the strategy. So what strategy of payment are you using? So you have self the strategy, then process payments. You have self the strategy dot pay amount. So you can now use that now. You can say your checkout. So you see this checkout now. So you can just say checkout, a variable name is now this checkout, which is inheriting the PayPal payment. All right. So it means you're paying with PayPal, and then now the checkout dot process dot payment that tells you what process you're using to pay. So you run this now. It tells you paid 100 with PayPal, right? So paid 100 with PayPal. That's what that is about. So we have seen the three common design patterns in Python, singleton pattern, factory pattern, and strategy pattern. So the question is when and how to use design patterns. Now, first of all, you should understand that you don't have to over-engineer. So patterns should solve real problems, not add complexity. Then recognize recurring problems, like choose a suitable pattern. Then refactor code, apply patterns when necessary. Then we have a capstone project. I'm just going to breeze through it because it is quite elaborate, I think. Yeah, it's a bit elaborate. So I'll just breeze through. So of course you have access to the code, so you can look at it later. Okay. So it's really plenty. So here now we are doing an inventory management system. So build an inventory management system using object-oriented programming best practices and design patterns. So features, you have a product management, that's SRP, separate classes for products, inventory, and reports. So that we can have independent classes that can work together instead of burdening one class with all the activities. Then you have the factory pattern for product creation. We have the strategy pattern for discount strategies like seasonal percentage of flat. Then we have singleton pattern for inventory database connection. Then we have OCP, easily add new product types without modifying existing code. We have DIP, which is abstract interfaces for data storage like CSV, JSON, and database. So cell one, we import money, helpers, and custom errors. So I'll just flash it on the screen briefly and run it and move on. Okay, so you can study that better as you go on. Then so check Google the caption. You'll find a link to the Google Drive where you can download it so you can sit down and really understand it. So with the first part now, we've done things like money helpers and custom errors. Then next we go to DIP where we talk about the storage backend abstractions. So it creates a class called storage backend. You have JSON storage where some information are stored. Then we have the CSV storage also and all of that. So you define functions like load records, save records, and all that. Then you have another class called database storage and with its own functions. So like load records, save records also. Don't ever forget to run because if you don't run it, this one has been run. So the second one should be run. You can use play button like we know. So we have the third cell. So here, strategy pattern, pluggable discount algorithm. So I'll just run this one ahead so I don't forget. So you have class called discount strategy, no discount, percentage discount, flat discount, seasonal discount. So all of this, it's very robust, for all the calculations. So you can see all the calculations going on here. So you can sit down to get that more clearly. So this one has been run. So cell 4, you have product hierarchy and factory pattern for creation, right? So you have class product ABC, base product, new product types can be added via subclassing. So then you have all this function. You need price, inventory, value, and all that. Then you use all the class methods or string method or anything, abstract method and all that you can use. Then class book products. So the product type now. So class book, now you're creating a class for book, which is inheriting the product class. And then you have all this SKU, self SKU, name, self name, and all of these things. I think I've run this also. Then, you have laptop and other products. You can keep creating different products like that because it's an inventory. So perishable products, vegetables, and the rest of them, to record factory pattern, central creation logic, open for extension. I think I've run this also. It's so lengthy. It's one can almost forget it's been run. So you can talk about perishables and create other class methods. So cell 5, you have singleton pattern for global inventory database with pluggable storage, I believe. So it creates inventory database, and then you have load all record, save all, offset record, delete by SKU. All right. Then in cell 6, you have inventory, SRP, and high-level operations. Let me run this so I don't forget to. So aggregate for managing product. So you have the strategy center, you have the CRUD. That's all, yeah, sounding like what we did under SQL with Python the other time. If you have not seen that playlist, you want to learn about SQL, you can do that. Then you have the SRP part now, human readable summaries. So this gives you human readable summaries of the products you have. So class reports and all that. Then we can use this to do a demo, right? I mean, it's so plenty. We can use this for a demo. So see what this looks like now. Quick demo, swap storage backend freely. So choose a storage backend, DIP, blah, blah, blah. So so you have the product book, laptop, perishable with all their codes and their names and the price tags attached to them, right? Let me see if I can show. Wow, it's so lengthy. Oh, okay. Just keep going. Okay. Keep going still. Yeah, so we have all of these things. So if you run this now, then it gives us some results, tabulated, I believe. Yeah, so you have all these results. No discounts, clean architecture, Ultrabook X, that's book, laptop, organic milk, that's perishable, the price, the stock, the value, that's coming from all that plenty elaborate stuff. Total inventory value with current discounts, you have all this 10% off, clean architecture, organic. So you take 10% off, I think, all of them. So you now have, instead of 3,999, you have 3,599 and all these new costs now. Then you can have seasonable discounts on some of them too, if possible. Then after stock changes plus $5 flat off, So how this maps to the brief, right? You see SRP talks about inventory, reports, product subclasses, separate responsibilities. Then for factory pattern, you have product factory centralizes object creation, like create from record. Strategy pattern talks about discount strategy with no discount, percentage discount, flat discount, or seasonal discount. Then singleton pattern talks about inventory database is a single shared gateway to storage. Then you have OCP, add a new product type by subclassing product and product factory dot register, no modifications to existing classes. Then you have DIP, inventory DB depends on storage backend protocol. Then you swap JSON storage, CVS storage, and CSV storage, and all that. So optional, you can actually have an optional one. You can add a new product type, without touching existing code, right? And how do you do that? So you just create another class smart products, and smart product, I mean smartphone, which will inherit the product class, which was already there, and then you give all the other information so that by the time you now you now call for this from the register, by the time you run this, it's there. So you can now use this last cell to call it. So you have phone is product factory, smartphone, blah, blah, blah. And you run this and you get this result. So you now see you have BK. So you have added phone to it. Now Galaxy S is smartphone. It wasn't there in the previous one. So with this, we come to the end of this video on object-oriented programming best practices. All right. And of course, so object-oriented program best practices and design patterns. So with this, we come to the end of object-oriented programming, but of course not the end of Python basics, because I still like to talk about Python libraries, modules, packages, and all of that, right? So that's how this has been in this video. Let me know how helpful this is for you. If there's something you like in the trial, feel very free to let me know. If you have not subscribed already, you're missing a lot. So go ahead, click on the subscription button and subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you can always get alerted anytime a new video is released. You can take it a step further and become a member of the channel for some special privileges, like at the very highest level, we can have one-on-one interaction if you so desire, right? That's one. So ultimately, don't forget to comment, like, share, so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. So like, come your way again. Keep doing Python right. Bye.